New videos every day.
Hi, this is Dr. Vincent Bellonzi. I recently had a question about soy, so I just wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about soy. Is soy good or bad? It's like anything else. Soy is good and bad. There are certain ways that soy is processed. Some of them leave a lot of what are called phytates and other things in the soy. Some of the genetically modified soy is hopefully there. We don't know for sure if there's not any non-genetically modified anymore, but some of the soys can be dangerous to the body, so you want to try to work with something that's a little more natural. But soy isn't all bad. Soy can be quite helpful with weight loss. The isolated soy proteins, if they're processed correctly, are quite safe to use and can really help with blood sugar balance, with metabolic syndrome. They can help with the whole process of weight loss. They are a good protein source if they're processed correctly and they don't have the contaminants like the phytates and other things that are contained in them. So you want to buy a good quality soy if you're going to use it as a protein source. Now, as far as the soy effect on hormones, soy plants don't contain hormones. They contain compounds or chemicals that can mimic what estrogen does. They're in the soy plant. The isoflavones and other chemicals are closer in their action to what estrogen can do. So they can actually go to the same receptor, cause a weaker version of the action that the estrogen would have at the hormone receptor. So in essence, some of the things in the soy can actually do some of the same things that your own estrogen would do. Now that can be a good thing, especially if you're a female and you're estrogen dominant and you're having problems that are caused by too much estrogen. Then what can happen is the soy can actually be used to mediate the effects of your own estrogen, because the soy mimickers or the chemicals in the plant are going to be weaker acting. And they will use up or cover up some of the receptor sites. The action that they create is much less, so you actually lessen overall the effect of your estrogen. And that can be quite helpful. You can solve a lot of perimenopausal and menopausal problems, even the PMS. A lot of problems that females and even males have that occur from estrogen can be mediated because of the weaker acting isoflavones and other chemicals. So that can be a good thing. On the other hand, if you're not eating other animal sources of protein and your sole source of protein is the soy and you're eating a lot of it and you're getting a lot of these estrogen mimickers into your system, then you could have more of an effect than your own estrogen would cause, because not only do you have your own perhaps correct level of estrogen, but you've got all this added effect of what the plant is doing. So if you overdo it with soy, you can cause problems. I mean, men can really overdo it with soy and create quite an imbalance between their testosterone and their estrogen. And the same with women. So a little soy can be a good thing. A lot of soy can be a bad thing. It's not that it's dangerous. You don't have to avoid it completely. It is a nice complete protein and we can use it safely. So again, look at how the soy you have is processed. Buy quality soy products. And then know a little bit about what's going on with your hormones. Again, testing is going to be the best way to know. There's different ways to test. Your hormones can be tested, of course, in the blood. You can test saliva levels. You can even test urinary excretory levels. So there's different ways to test your hormone balance. And it's worthwhile getting an assessment every once in a while to see where you are. But a little bit of soy can be quite helpful. And better if you know that you've got perhaps some imbalances, that you look at that first before using soy. But we use a number of soy products, especially in one of our weight loss programs. We have a program called First Line Therapy, and it's a therapeutic lifestyle program. And it's a great program as far as more of a self-paced thing where people can learn how many calories they require. And there's no counting of calories, but learning what foods they should be using to get kind of a modified Mediterranean diet. And you're actually training how to put your menus together, how to get your exercise in, how to get the number of calories that you really need, and learning how to live a lifestyle. So it's a real good program. But one of the base products that we use for that, because sometimes we allow people a meal replacement, and most of it is real food that we're using. But one of the basic meal replacements or medical foods that we use in that is actually a soy protein-based product. And it can be quite helpful for the solution of a weight problem. So you don't need to run away from soy and never use it at all. Like anything with mediation, you're just fine. But don't overdo it with soy. If you know that you have some some problems that, especially hormonal balance problems, then you might need to be a little more careful with the soy. But at any rate, don't overdo it, because you don't want to just be dependent on soy alone as your protein source. You don't need to overdo it, even though it may be one of the basic foods that you use. Again, there's so many ways that soy is used. You're probably safer with the less processed forms, with the exception of an isolated soy protein. Then you want, in essence, the more processed forms, so that you've processed out some of the things in the plant. The point being, you can't just go chew on a soy plant. It would probably make you sick. You're going to get a high load of phytates and other things besides perhaps pesticides and such. So just be careful that if you're going to use soy protein, that it's processed correctly. If you're going to eat soy, that it's prepared correctly. Edamame, something is probably a little bit better than the tofus, but how much processing was done in the tofu and how was it processed? Some things to look into. So soy, good or bad? Yes, to both. Just know what the difference is. This is Dr. Vince Bellonzi. Be informed and be healthy.
There are over 350 videos on our channel, and I doubt you've seen them all. And the topics range from weight loss, nutrition, sexual health, all the way to psychology and mind control, and anywhere in between. And I think if you check them out, you're going to find some really interesting stuff.